Hi, this is Megan with Beadaholique, and today I'm going to show you how to do vertical netting stitch in bead weaving. And you're going to start usually with a foundation row. So you're going to have a different type of bead weaving that you use, and then you're going to work your netting stitch off of that. So I just have a couple of rows of square stitch. You can use any kind of stitch you want that has the beads running with the holes facing horizontally so that you can run your needle through it this way. So the vertical netting stitch works vertically in columns across your work. So what you need to do is go on your foundation row here, and you're going to weave around till your needle and thread are coming out of the bead you want to start with. And you're going to have link beads in this stitch, and I'm using these dark kind of cobalt blue beads for link beads. And then you're going to have your regular beads that make up the netting part, and I'm using these turquoise beads for that. So I'm going to do a 5 bead vertical netting, which means that I have 5 beads per segment. First you want to start with a link bead. And then you're going to put on the 5 beads for your segment, which will include 2 beads, 1 link bead, and 2 more beads. And now for the first row, you're just going to add a link bead, and then add 5 more beads for the segment, which is 2 beads, 1 link bead, 2 beads. And then you'll add a link bead. And another 5 bead segment. Oops. And with vertical netting, how long you make this first row will determine the length this way in your work. I'm going to go ahead and stop there. Got 1 extra bead on there. So this is going to be your first row, and then, or your first row, but it's a column, but in bead weaving you still call it a row even if it's going that way. So next we're going to do a turning chain by grabbing a link bead and another 5 bead segment. And this is going to be where your work turns back up. So now you want to skip the first 3 link beads and bring your needle into the 4th. And then you're going to grab a 5 bead segment, skip the next link bead, and go in through the 2nd. And 1 more 5 bead segment. And you're going to skip the next link bead and go into the 2nd, which is the first link bead that you added up here. And you want to pull it tight, but not too tight. You don't want it to pucker. And now you're going to go into your foundation row, and you're going to go over as many beads as you like to start your next column, the next row. And how wide you space them apart will change how spread out your netting stitch is. So if it looks more vertical lines or if it looks more like a squared lattice. I'm just going to skip 4 beads for now. It is up to you and your aesthetic and how you like it to look. So for the rest of the rest of the rows, the rest of the columns, you'll start with a link bead, and then you're going to put on the 2 beads that go before the next link bead, You just need half, because then you're going to grab this second link bead on the first section there. And then you go ahead and get another group of 5. Skip the first link bead and go through the second. And then another group of 5. And you're going to skip the next link bead and go through the second one. And now we're going to do our turning chain. You're going to grab 2 of your beads and 1 link bead. And then you're going to grab another group of 5 beads. And then you'll skip the first 3 link beads and go through the 4th. Makes your little turning chain, and you're just going to continue working along, getting a group of 5, going through the second link bead and going back up through that link bead, skipping over. Just repeat the exact same process along the whole width of your piece, and that is how you do vertical netting stitch.